The Guy de Maupassant Countdown, 20 stories and novels that defined the art of the short form. Guy de Maupassant's career blazed like a comet. Born in Normandy in 1850, he served in the Franco-Prussian War, studied under Gustave Flaubert, and within a decade became the most celebrated short story writer in France. His fiction blends concise plotting, sharp irony, and an unflinching eye for human weakness. Whether in the salons of Paris or the farms of Normandy, Maupassant's characters pursue love, money, honor, or escape, and often find only disappointment, humiliation, or a cruel twist of fate. This is a ranking of his 20 most memorable works, both short stories and novels, from early triumphs to late masterpieces. We start at number 20 and build toward the single work that distills his genius. 20. The Necklace, La Parure, 1884. First published in Le Gaulois, The Necklace is Maupassant's most famous story worldwide. Mathilde Loisel dreams of a glamorous life. When she borrows a necklace for a ball and loses it, she and her husband labor for 10 years to repay the debt, only to learn the necklace was worthless paste. Themes: vanity, pride, social ambition, and the ironic cruelty of fate. Maupassant compresses a decade of toil into a few paragraphs, making the ending all the more brutal. Why number 20? While iconic, it's almost too neat a morality tale compared to the complexity of his deeper works. Still, it's a perfect introduction for first-time readers, its twist seared into the memory of millions of schoolchildren. 19. The Diamond Necklace, alternate version. This lesser-known variant reworks the premise of The Necklace with altered details and more emphasis on the randomness of misfortune. The core remains. A woman's longing for status leads to ruin. Themes: the mutability of truth, the slipperiness of memory. Why number 19? It's a curiosity, proof that Maupassant often revisited ideas, sharpening or reframing them. For completists, it's fascinating to compare the two versions. 18. The Olive Orchard, L'Olivier, 1890. Set in Provence, this atmospheric tale follows a traveler who hears a haunting legend under the gnarled branches of ancient olive trees. The story blends local history, romantic betrayal, and hints of the supernatural. Themes: memory embedded in landscape, the endurance of place over people. Why number 18? Maupassant is better known for realism, but here he proves he can be lush and lyrical, painting the orchard with the same precision he brings to human folly. 17. A Woman's Life, Une Vie, 1883. His debut novel traces Jeanne, an idealistic young noblewoman, from her wedding day through decades of disappointment, an adulterous husband, a selfish son, and the slow erosion of her hopes. Themes: the gap between romantic expectation and reality, resilience in the face of mediocrity. Why number 17? A melancholic but powerful opening statement for his novelistic career, setting the tone for his recurring focus on illusions undone by life. 16. A Coward, Un Lâche, 1884. A Parisian gentleman receives a challenge to a duel. All night, he's consumed by terror. By morning, he has resolved his dilemma by killing himself. Themes: fear of public shame, the absurdity of honor codes. Why number 16? It's short and merciless, turning the macho ritual of dueling into a black comedy about human cowardice. 15. The Hauler, La Hauler, 1887. Written as a diary, this unsettling tale chronicles a man's growing conviction that he is being controlled by an invisible entity. Themes: madness, the unknown, loss of control. Scholars read it as an allegory for Maupassant's own mental decline due to syphilis. Why number 15? It's a rare brush with horror, showing that his talent for realism could turn to the uncanny with chilling effect. 14. Boule de Suif, 1880. Maupassant's breakthrough story, praised by Flaubert, is set during the Franco-Prussian War. A group of travelers, merchants, nuns, an aristocratic couple, and Boule de Suif, a patriotic prostitute, are detained by the enemy. She sacrifices herself for the group only to be shunned afterward. Themes: hypocrisy, exploitation, the ugliness beneath bourgeois respectability. Why number 14? A foundational work for his career, blending political allegory with precise character work. 13. The Model, Le Modèle, 1883. A painter falls in love with his model. Over time, their relationship sours. When he tries to leave her, she jumps from a window. Themes: passion soured into cruelty, the destructive side of dependency. Why number 13? Its compression makes the tragedy hit harder. Maupassant wastes no scene, no line. 12th. A Piece of String, La Ficelle, 1884. Norman peasant Maître Hauchecorne picks up a piece of string. Accused of theft, he protests his innocence to no avail, his reputation destroyed. Themes: gossip, the impossibility of disproving suspicion. Why number 12? A quintessential rural tragedy, showing how social judgment can crush a man over nothing. En Beurre. Mother Savage, La Mère Sauvage, bin Sekis, Us Sexen Dirt. During wartime, a French woman houses 4 German soldiers. Upon learning her son is dead, she burns them alive. Themes: revenge, grief, the moral abyss of war. Why number 11? Maupassant's war fiction often avoided heroics. Here, he faces vengeance head-on, without moralizing. Dix. The Devil, Le Diable, 1886. In Normandy, an old woman tends to a dying neighbor while discussing morality, sin, and the temptations of the devil. Themes: folklore, rural piety, the universality of temptation. Why number 10? It merges peasant storytelling tradition with Maupassant's psychological realism. 9. Two Friends, Deux Amis, 1882. Two Parisians go fishing during the siege of Paris and are captured by Prussians. They refuse to betray military secrets and are executed. Themes: friendship, loyalty, patriotism, stripped of sentimentality. Why number 9? Its brevity makes the final image, the river continuing to flow, all the more poignant. 8. The Inn, L'Auberge, 1886. Two friends take over a remote alpine inn. One leaves for supplies and never returns. The other descends into isolation and madness. Themes: loneliness, human fragility, nature's indifference. Why number 8? It's as much a study of the wilderness as of the human mind, and the slow spiral is gripping. 7. Miss Harriet, 1883. An English spinster lodges in a French village, falls for a local artist, and kills herself when he rejects her. Themes: outsider status, unrequited love, cultural clash. Why number 7? Maupassant treats Harriet with empathy rather than mockery, making this a standout in his portraits of doomed affection. 6. A Farm Girl's Story, Histoire d'une fille de ferme, 1881. Rose, a servant girl, becomes pregnant by her employer's son. She's cast out and left to survive on her own. Themes: gender inequality, rural hypocrisy, resilience. Why number 6? It's an unflinching look at how small communities police women's behavior. 5. The Foster Sister, La Petite Roque, 1885. When a young girl is murdered, suspicion falls on the local mayor, who is in fact guilty and manipulates the investigation. Themes: corruption, abuse of power, hidden guilt. Why number 5? It blends crime plotting with psychological portraiture, making for a taut, disturbing read. 4. Mademoiselle Fifi, 1882. Prussian officers occupy a French chateau. One, nicknamed Mademoiselle Fifi for his effeminacy, insults a patriotic prostitute, with fatal results. Themes: occupation, resistance, gendered insult as a spark for rebellion. Why number 4? A fierce, ironic war story that celebrates small acts of defiance. 3. The Will, Le Testament, 1882. A dead man's will reveals hidden grudges and disrupts family harmony. Themes: greed, the posthumous settling of scores, family hypocrisy. Why number 3? In a few pages, Maupassant lays bare the pettiness of inheritance disputes. Second, Belle Amie, 1885. Georges Duroy, a charming but penniless ex-soldier, seduces and schemes his way up Parisian society, using women as stepping stones. Themes: ambition, corruption, sexual politics, the press. Why number 2? Maupassant's most famous novel is irresistible, fast-paced, cynical, and a panoramic view of Belle Époque Paris. First, The Necklace, La Parure, 1884. Returning to the story that made him immortal, Mathilde Loisel's night of glory, her decade of drudgery, and the crushing twist. Themes: the pursuit of status, the cruelty of appearances, the trick of fate. Why number 1? If one work sums up Maupassant's mastery of irony, brevity, and emotional impact, this is it: a universal fable told with the precision of a scalpel.